Welcome back. Glad you could join me again. Sam the electrician here, talking about Western independence and Alberta separation. So it's near the end of November now, and it is painfully obvious to all of us in the movement that none of the mainstream establishment politicians are going to jump on board with the movement, or even voicing support for it is taboo in the established elitist circles that they run in. I believe most of them are globalists and adherents to the UN and all that goes along with those terrible, terrible ideas and policies. So it's not a big surprise. I was hoping that maybe one or two of them would jump on board. Miss Rempel, MP from Calgary, made a video warning Ontario and people not to dismiss our movement. Though she didn't jump on board. Obviously, she can't. She's a member of the Conservative Party of Canada, which is run by globalists and federalists for sure. And they are basically more of the same, especially when it comes to losing half of the country who they wish to rule over, govern. Let's put it nicely. Anyway, so wanted to talk about some comments I heard this week. Mayor Nenshi from Calgary called the movement idiotic. That just shows his level of respect for people whose ideas differ than his own. It's a very disrespectful way to comport yourself as mayor, and really his opinion can be discounted. He gets voted in civic elections where 26% of eligible voters show up to vote. Nobody cares. So he's got his little fan base that keep voting him in, and no one else shows up to even oppose him. I'm sure that if 100% of people who voted in Calgary would vote, he would be out the door immediately. But he capitalizes on the apathy of the average voter for civic elections, and he's continues on with his leftist ways and his socialist ideals, and he talks a big game about supporting Alberta values, but I don't see anything coming out of it other than to call people idiots or idiotic, deride their belief systems. So it's pretty childish of Mr. Nenshi. Indeed, he should take a lesson from the leftist politicians down in the States with their calling half the electorate deplorables, etc. See where that got the Democratic Party. And then you've got on the provincial level, you've got the opposition leader, Rachel Notley, calling our ideas and beliefs dangerous, which is typical for that level of politics, right? The smear and fear and gloom and doom campaigns of the leftists and the communists leading socialists, that kind of side of politics. Again, only they would think that opinions that differ politically from theirs are dangerous, because they're ideological fascists, and anyone who holds a different belief is verboten. It's forbidden to not go along with the groupthink hive mind. So, and that also extends up to the liberals on the federal level and the climate change cultists. It's not just enough that you don't believe. You have to believe. You're a denier if you don't believe. You're backwards in your thinking. All this kind of derisive language from them, trying to shame people almost into joining the cult, which Alberta refuses to do. I saw a big poll chart thing today in the media saying that lamenting the fact that Alberta lags behind the rest of Canada in their climate change beliefs. Well, get used to that, because I don't think that's changing anytime soon. And Quebec, with all its virtue signaling to Canada and the rest of the world, I googled guess what the best-selling vehicle is in Quebec? The Ford F-150. That doesn't run on unicorn farts, people. That runs on gasoline. So you know what? Quebec says it's green. It's not green. 8 million people in Quebec, I'm sure they drive vehicles that consume gasoline and fossil fuels. So again, you're fooling yourself. You're screaming for propane. 2 or 3 days, no propane coming through, and now, oh no, we need Alberta's help again. We need propane. We need the government to come in and crush workers' rights and make them go back to work, despite the fact that they don't have a contract and they're not being treated fairly. The first thing that Quebecers would bitch and moan and whine about, and go on strike and burn down Montreal, and just refuse to go to school because tuitions are too high, and all these little special treatments that Quebec gets. All of a sudden, when they're on the other foot, oh no, federal government, come and save us and make those rotten CN workers bring us what we need. Side note, if you had pipelines to bring that propane, there wouldn't be an issue, would there? So anyway, good going, Quebec. Once again, day late and a dollar short. Failing to understand the situation, absolutely, and just whining and moaning and bitching like little entitled children that you are. So yeah, that will bring me up to the federal level of leadership. We'll see what Trudeau does. Apparently, the union found a solution today with CN. So we'll see if that's organic or not, or if the threat of government intervention forced it, or whatever it is. But as it goes for the leaders of the movement, I've heard some concerns about Peter Downing. He did seem quite arrogant in the interview he had with Ezra Levant, I caught, where he states that he is the leader of Wexit, which is true. He's the leader of the movement that he started. Now, you can't take that as read that means he's going to be the leader of any new republic that forms out here. There is no way that's going to happen. A new leader will emerge, democratic elections will be held, and whoever the people choose to be the leader of the new party will be the leader. Now, if the people choose to vote in Wexit with him set up as the leader, that's the people's choice. But the people will have a choice. He doesn't get to just de facto declare himself the leader. Just like I thought it was a little arrogant when he de facto kind of offered Jason Kenney the opportunity to become president of the new republic. That would still have to go through elections, and people would still have to choose Jason Kenney to be that leader. And that window has slammed shut and been locked and double bolted, and a storm window put in front of that one. So anyway, not too impressed with the leadership this week, as you can tell. And I'm sure a new charismatic leader will emerge out of all this to lead us to freedom. Again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So hang in there, stay encouraged, stay active, and we'll move one step after another towards freedom. Take it easy.